Thank you, Rihanna, and good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being here. I don't know about you, but I certainly think a lot of the content that we've heard today has really been great. So I want to thank Rihanna for that. Okay, the green button. Okay, so I'm here to talk about embedded analytics and embedding that into your software product and how important that is to actually provide growth for your company. So first of all, this is me. The main thing I'll say about this is I've been around a long time. So there's a lot that I've seen, a lot that I've experienced, and I hope to share some of that with you today. So with embedded analytics, why it's so important is, your customers today are seeing data. They're collecting data, they're generating data just in alarming rates. And what they're now telling you is, what can I do with that data? What insights can I get from that data? And so they're really kind of demanding analytics. And so with the demand, that must mean there's a way to monetize that. And so embedded analytics can really be very important to your company, and it's my belief, and I hope to convince you, that if you embed analytics in your product, you're going to see some real growth in both your bottom line and your top line. And I'll even show you some statistics about that can show you why that's possible. So let's first talk about what is embedded analytics. Okay, so embedded analytics is really an integration and a tight integration of analytics into your product. Not something that's added onto it, not something that's just basically outside of it and somebody uses it and integrates, in an external way, but that's actually embedded into your product so that your customers have at their fingertips a way to look at dashboards, visualize the data, look at reports, do self-service analytics as they are using your product, and possibly even ad hoc reporting, do benchmark themselves against other companies using external data, having all of this happen on their mobile device and even looking at visuals. And what this really results is in much more timely and much more accurate data-driven business decisions. And what that really means is what embedded analytics does is it will take the data that your customers need and really bring it to life. Something like this. This is an actual graph from a customer of one of our partners, Burst. So let's look at the business case here for embedded analytics. One thing, that if you talk to people, embedded analytics really does drive higher usage of your product and of analytics. And why is that? That's because they use your product. I mean, if they have bought your product, they are using your product. And to do whatever, the financial system, the inventory system, whatever it is. And so they're familiar with, they're going to use it, and if analytics is actually embedded into that product, they're going to use that analytics. And if you're like me, if you start seeing data, you're going to say, I want more data. And so it's just going to keep driving higher and higher usage, not only of your product, of the analytics. And so with higher usage, you're going to see much better results. Your customers will see much better results. What the customers of software that has embedded analytics are saying, and this is from an Aberdeen Group report last year, they're saying that they're seeing 80 to 90% improvement in customer response time, 80 to 90% improvement in cycle time of their key processes, and 80 to 90% improvement in their knowledge and sharing. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal, 80 to 90% improvement. And so why is that the case? And that's the case is because they're actually using it. They're able to quickly identify issues and then address those issues and move forward. And so it's just making everybody much more productive. And the results of that are your customers are getting financial benefits. Okay, and another Aberdeen Group report has said people that really do use analytics, particularly embedded analytics, are showing much better profits, both bottom line and top line, versus people that aren't using them. So in this study, this shows that companies that were leaders in using analytics are showing a 23% growth rate. Average users of them are showing a 9% growth rate, and those laggards, the ones that are back there doing not much at all, are only a 3% growth rate. So that's a real correlation to growth. And then, or revenue. So again, it's top line and bottom line, 23% on the bottom line, 27% on the top line because of analytics. So what does that mean? That means if you provide embedded analytics to your customers, you are providing high value, and you ought to be able to get high value from that as well. And so with this report that Aberdeen Group let out in January of this year, These are results from ISVs who are doing embedded analytics, and what they are saying is the biggest advantage to them by embedding analytics into their product. First and foremost, and you can see that 73% of those that responded said that embedded analytics is a product differentiator, a real competitive advantage. And if you can have a competitive advantage in this day and age, that's golden, okay? The second thing they're saying, it's providing their users a much better and much richer end user experience, which of course means they're seeing much more value from the product and want to use it more and basically keep renewing. They're also seeing net new revenue streams from analytics, and they're seeing average customer values go up. And I'll give you some examples of what that looks like. So for ISVs with embedded analytics, they are definitely reporting better financial results. And we heard earlier today that retention rates, renewal rates were very important. And analytics, you can see from this graph here that analytics, people really using the analytics and embedded analytics and products are showing a 13% renewal rate growth, year-over-year growth, 13% year-over-year growth in renewal rates, and 18% growth year-over-year in average deal sizes. And so that's definitely allowing the company to grow. So let's look at a quick case study here. This is a case study for a leading provider of media industry solutions and services. And basically, they're a company that has software that helps companies manage their ad inventory. So they've got a bunch of ads, where do they go, how effective are they, things like that. And what they found out is, they were doing a great job at managing inventory, but what they were finding out is their customers wanted to know more. Their customers wanted to get deeper insights into what were the effective places to do ads, what time of the year, what time of the day, or things like that. So they really wanted much deeper analytics around the ads. They were really creating, and because they were a SaaS, they had all this data in the aggregate around all these ads, but they had not been able to share any of the insights with their customers. So finally, they had tried to do their own data warehouse system by themselves, and after about a year and a half of trying to do that, they said, well, we're not being very successful. So we better work with a vendor. And so they did pick one, and they were able to implement their solution in months versus the year and a half that they had already been working on. I believe it was about 3 months that they implemented and delivered their first solution. They were able then to provide insights to their customers, insights around the data. For instance, what are the most productive across all of their customers? What have been the most productive places for ads? What time of the year? Things like that. And so people were going, wow, this is great. I really like using the product now. And what that happened for them was they were retaining their customers at higher rates, and they were also growing them. Well, one of the examples that they like to talk about is one of their customers was spending about 30% of their budget on this product, but after seeing the results and really understanding the analysis of the data, they basically tripled their budget for this product, and so they put it everywhere in their company. So that was definitely, they renewed and they grew, and that was happening to a lot of their customers. So it was a really good business case for them. The other thing was, remember what I said was it's a competitive advantage. The other thing that was interesting is because they had these embedded analytics, they were actually seeing that their competitive wins were going from a 50% probability to a 90% probability. So they were beating out their competition almost every single time, when it was only about half the time before. So so those are really quite compelling results for this company. So now we'll go over just a few of the considerations around implementing embedded analytics into your product. So let's look first of all at the embedded analytics continuum, because what I always say about everything is you need to evolve, and you need to evolve however you're going to deliver something in a way that makes sense. And so in embedded analytics, there really is this continuum of starting with the basic reporting and sometimes what's called descriptive analytics, where they really say, okay, here are the charts, here's what's going, you can see a trend going up, or you can see a trend going down, And it's sort of the basic reporting that frankly we're all pretty used to, because almost every product comes out with some sort of basic reporting. The next level up on the continuum is what's called diagnostic analysis or analytics. And with diagnostic analytics, it's not only showing you the basic reporting, but it's also saying, and here's an issue, and you better do something about it. So we have like a customer, Wind River, which is local here, that when they started using analytics, they basically, the sales guy wanted to know on a daily basis which of the sales in the pipeline were dropping. And he wanted to know every day, all the ones. And so they went red and they told him. He was immediately told which ones those were. So then he would go talk to the salesman. I'm pretty certain the salesman didn't like this, but the sales VP really did like this, and it made him more productive. It made his team much more productive. So that's sort of the diagnostic, alerts you to what's going on. The predictive takes in all of that as well, but then it also helps you understand what might happen. It'll predict for you what could happen in the next quarter or in the next 6 months, the next year, and so to help you really think that through and to help you start thinking about, are those really the possibilities and what should I do with that? The top of the continuum is really prescriptive analytics, and prescriptive analytics goes to the next step, which is to say, here are some recommendations based on what we've seen, recommendations for you as to what you might do because of what the data is telling you. So this is what we think the data is telling you, and here are some recommendations as what you might do. So, and it's not that it's telling you what to do, it's giving you at least some ideas. And so that's really what we see in terms of where analytics is going. And so when you do decide to embed analytics, you need to really figure out where you want to be on this analytics when you go out the first time and how you want to evolve. And you want to pick a partner that's going to be able to help you do this. So this report from Aberdeen also showed what types of tools that were being embedded into software products. And this is really broken out by all the companies that responded, and then the orange bars are really the ones, the SaaS companies. The blue ones, the red ones are the on-premise, and blue is just the total. And you notice across the board that SaaS companies are providing more analytics in their product. And the other thing you notice is that the spectrum of what's being provided is wide. It goes all the way from the front-end visualizations all the way through to the back end of the data management, the data warehousing, the integration with other data, ETL, things like that. So it's a very wide range of capabilities for analytics. But the interesting thing, and we're here with the SaaS companies, is to be really competitive. SaaS companies are seeing that they have to really provide a high level of analytics, and I believe the key reason for that is because their customers are the business users. They're the people that are out there using the product, and they want to understand their data, at their fingertips immediately. And so they're needing to really show them, visualize it for them, and it all be there for them. So we're seeing SaaS companies really stepping up, those that are stepping up to embedding quite a wide range of analytics. So what are some of the key steps to implementing data analytics? I want to really start by not the steps yet, but by the I don't know what color you want to call it, the gold little bar at the bottom, which says develop analytics mindset in your own company and in your client's company. One of the things what makes analytics successful is to make sure that people really understand what is analytics. You heard the gentleman from New Relic this morning talk about a lot of what they do is teach people about analytics and how to use their product. And that's the one thing about analytics is people aren't just naturally analytical or understand what data analysis is. And so you, being the provider of the analytics in your product, have to understand that you are going to have to be the teacher of that. You have to teach your own people, particularly your salespeople, about how to sell analytics with your product and how to sell the benefits and the value of analytics with your product. And you have to teach your clients how important it is and what they need to do to understand and gain the value from analytics with your product. So that's a very key thing is developing that mindset. Otherwise, people will look at analytics and they won't know what to do. So the first step in implementing analytics is determining the role of analytics in the product. Oops, too many. Okay. And so in determining the role of analytics in product, this is where you need to decide where on that continuum do you want to start with. Do you want to be basic reporting? Do you want to go into diagnostics? How far up that do you want to go? And you know, especially if you want to get something out quickly, determining something that is useful to your clients. And you'll know what's useful to your clients because what you need to do is include your clients in telling you what they need. You know, so determining what to do is really very, very key, is asking your clients, because that does two things. Well, the first thing is you hear what they have to say. You listen to them and you say, okay, this is great. This is what we should do. The second thing is just by asking, some of them may not have the ideas, but by asking, you're starting now to socialize the idea that analytics are important, that you should really be thinking about this, and then when your product comes out, they'll be ready to buy it and to add it to their product. And so you need to determine, you know, what role you're going to have, what the continuum, what platforms, all of the usual product types of things that you need to decide about what analytics in your product. The next thing is selecting the right BI technology and the right partner. Because one of the things I'll tell you here is that if you think you are going to embed analytics in your product and you are not an analytics vendor yourself, you're probably crazy. Okay? Because you probably do not have the expertise to really understand and implement analytics, because that's not your core competency. And so you should go to the companies whose core competency is analytics and work with them to embed their product into your product. Okay, and the companies really do have the expertise to do that, and so you need to understand what do these, you know, what are the capabilities you want, what are the pricing that you want, so that you can pick a partner that actually does fit with you, and that will help you make sure that the analytics that are embedded into your product fit your product and fit your pricing model. And then you have to, of course, develop your plan to implement, and the next slide I'll go into some more elements of what the plan is. And then, of course, you've got to execute. Execute is a big thing. We all know that. So in terms of the product strategy and the product planning, it's not just the product itself. It's not just what is analytics, okay? What analytics am I putting in that product? That's the development piece. That's the working with the partner and actually taking their product and integrating it and customizing it into your product and doing all that. That's the development piece. That's very, very important. But there are two other pieces that are also very important. There's the go-to-market piece, which of course would be go-to-market with the analytics in your product. And you really need to be able to sell the analytics. And you know, so you need to have a partner that's going to be able to help you with marketing material around the analytics, how to sell it with your product with analytics, and to show your customers what the value is to them. Because hopefully I've already shown you there's a high value to customers. You know, high value in terms of you're going to be able to help them grow while you're growing as well. And so you need to make sure all of that go-to-market part of releasing the product with analytics, all that's ready to go at the same time as well. The other thing is monetization and productization is think through monetization. How are you going to actually price this? It's very interesting that a lot of the companies right now, since it's really kind of, I'll call it in the early stages of people embedding analytics, a lot of the companies right now, the majority are not charging extra for analytics in their product. And I think that's because they're just not sure how to value it. And I think that's because they don't understand what analytics, the value analytics really is bringing to their clients. I mean, why would you give away something that is bringing the kind of value that I was just talking about? And so you need to think through how do you want to monetize, and how will your partner help you with that monetization, be able to that fits in with the pricing strategy overall of your product. And then you also have to make sure that all the support of the analytics is in place, and that's support of the customers, that support training, so that the customers are trained on analytics. And you need to go back to your vendor, to your partner, and have them help you do all that as well. And that's what they're there for. They've got the expertise. They can not only help you embed the product, they can help you support it and bring it to market and all of that. And so those are all the key pieces to really take your product with analytics to market. So here's another case study, and this is a company called Hard Dollar, which is a project management software for large construction management companies. And what they do is they help companies manage project costs for their large construction projects. And what they were finding is they were doing a good job, but they really wanted to really have more analytics into their product, so that people could understand much better what was happening with all the costs. Where were the costs coming from? What was going on? And be able to make decisions on a real-time basis. They also wanted to be able to take data that was not only in their product, in the Hard Dollar product, but also data from their ERP systems or any other kind of data that would give them information about cost, and be able to integrate that with the Hard Dollar data to come up with some of these answers. So integrate all of the data. And because they had started out as an on-premise product, they had some customers that actually customized some of the data models. So they had to be able to handle all of these custom data models as well. And it needed to be mobile ready. So they chose Burst as their platform for analytics to basically embed into the Hard Dollar product. And by doing so, they were able to get their first product out in 43 days. I mean, that's really pretty phenomenal. 43 days, they got their first product out. It increased customer satisfaction, and it increased their revenue by 20% in that first year. And in fact, what they say is when they announced this product at their user conference, they got more orders that day than they expected to get all year. And so that there shows how effective and how valuable customers really look at analytics in a product. So in conclusion, analytics are very important to the customer, and so you have to make sure you understand that, so that you think through everything that you need to do in terms of how you value it, how you price it, and all of that. The other thing is that you yourself as a company will be able to reap the benefits of providing such high value to your customers by receiving value yourself. And that's top and bottom line increases for you. But more importantly, you'll end up having your happy customers. There you go. So, and then this is the commercial slide for CorSource Technology Group, my company. And we are a business intelligence firm with expertise in data analytics, software development, and technical staffing. And we help companies lay the foundation for making real-time, data-informed business decisions by leveraging the key resources and the right resources, the right people, data-informed processes, and all the relevant data that's needed. And if you want to learn more about us, we're in the vendor area, the sponsor area, in the room there where we always eat. So come see us in our booth there and learn what we do. So I think we have time for one or two questions. Any questions? See ya. Got to get that microphone there, Sia.
Thank you very much. Considering that different people within an organization need different analytics, different data, and also different industries might need that, what kind of verticalization of the analytics market are you seeing?
Yeah, so it is interesting is, whenever I talk to people about embedded analytics, and they really usually there's a lot of products that are for specific industries. And so one of the key steps in embedding analytics into a product is you do have to understand what are those specifics about that industry. And hopefully the company that is providing that software to begin with already has that domain expertise around that industry, and can talk about, well, this is what they do, this is what the data is, and this is the type, these are, this is the process they go through, and here's the key data that's needed. And then the BI vendor can then work with that customer and then start customizing their product to meet that so that it can be embedded in a way that it actually fits that industry. Okay. Anything else? Well, I'm out of time. Yeah. You want? Yeah, it says no time, so.
That's fine.
Okay.
And what about predictive analytics? There's a lot of noise about it. What are you seeing in the market?
Yeah.
The demand
Oh yeah, predictive analytics. It's here. It's definitely there are some companies that I've talked to that's really what they provide, the predictive analytics. But then companies like in fact our partner Burst, they just announced predictive analytics. So a lot of these companies, if they haven't announced it yet, they are working on it, and they are and they'll be seeing. So it's real and it's coming, and the users will start demanding that pretty soon because they're using. We're now seeing a whole core of users using analytics, and they're moving up that continuum. Because everybody starts down here. I just want basic reporting. Then wow, the diagnostic is neat, and then predictive is the next thing they're all going to start demanding. But it's definitely there. The technology is there, and it's ready to come out. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.